Hey everybody, PC Outcast here, back with more Everlasting Summer. So according to the guide I'm following, we only have one more thing we gotta do to get the good ending with Lena. Actually, it's possible that we will get the good ending anyway, but yeah, there's one more thing that we can do, and believe it or not, it's to help Alisa. So, not sure when that's going to pop up, but at the moment, we are chatting with Electronique, and he seems to be having some issues. So I patted him on the shoulder, trying really hard not to laugh. Thank you for your support. He smiled, sadly. Okay, I have to go. I have some work to do. Hope you're going to be all right on your own there. I shot out of the clubhouse like a bullet and finally laughed out loud. However, if you think about it, Electronique and Xenia would make a wonderful couple. They are actually a perfect match. It is strange then that Xenia rejected him. I was going towards this square thinking further about this episode. At the end of the day, Electronique is not such a simpleton. Just like that, he declared his love, even realizing that refusal will follow. Or, on the contrary, it is because he's just as simple as an apple pie. Either way, you can feel the honesty and sincerity in his behavior. More complicated people would spend hours, days, months, years thinking about how to present this in a better way, what consequences it would have, and whether you should even bother. I would do so myself. No, rather, I have done so. But he just said it. Unsuccessfully, of course, but it could have also gone differently. These thoughts made me completely melancholy, so much so that the lunch signal, usually so anticipated, didn't trigger any emotions at all. The canteen was chock full. It seems that the camp was slowly emerging from the morning depression. Maybe the sun that had come out from the clouds contributed to that, or maybe something else that I'd missed while running after Electronique. Only the places next to Lena and Alisa turned out to be free. I braced myself, started walking towards them. Eating was still a necessity. Can I sit with you? Oh, just sit down. Why are you so gloomy? It's just that you are too cheerful. I'm trying to maintain the energy balance in the universe. Lena giggled. Oddly enough, the girls did not pay any attention to me and talked about their own concerns. At first I thought it was good, but then I started to think that they were just taking no notice of me. By the way, where's Lena? Because of all my thinking, I'd completely forgotten about her. I don't know. Alisa answered absently. Has she still not appeared? As you can see. I took a look around the canteen, but didn't see her anywhere. And nobody's heard anything about her? No. It's starting to sound a lot like Shurik. Don't you find it strange? What's so strange? Maybe she's reading, maybe sleeping or something. Seems more like you're talking about yourself. It's none of your business, is it? Alisa interjected angrily. Well, if a person's missing. You weren't so worried when Shurik disappeared. That's quite different. Yes, and I wonder why. I had no answer and just blankly looked at Alisa before going back to my food. She did not insist on continuing the conversation. Lunch was over. I silently stood up and went out of the canteen without a goodbye. So Lena disappeared. What should I do now? On the other hand, why should I do anything? Why me? Where am I and why am I here and who are all these people? One cannot be absolutely sure whether Lena is what she seems. Perhaps all this doesn't even exist, so why should I worry? However, for me now, Lena is still the same Lena. The modest, quiet girl I met on the first day. And even her strange behavior could not affect my attitude towards her. In the end, it's not certain that I still exist. So while the world is logical, at least to some extent, I have to play by its rules. Quickly went to the camp leader's cabin. Once inside, I saw Olga laying on the bed and reading a book. Do you know where Lena is? No, why are you asking? She's nowhere to be found. She missed both breakfast and lunch. So what? She looked at me blankly. What do you mean, so what? When Shurik was gone, the whole camp was searching for him from the early morning. I don't understand you. There is something strange happening to the camp leader again. She's behaving absolutely incomprehensibly, illogically. Do you think it's normal? So where is she now? I don't know. Olga replied calmly. This is too much. I started to lose my temper. Ask Miku. She's her roommate after all. That was a good idea because obviously I would get no more answers here. Weird. I went outside, slammed the door, and went to look for Miku's and Lena's cabin. I think this is the first time we've ever been here. It was nice that the orchestra girl had told me before where she lives, which is why I was at the door of her cabin a minute later. I should have knocked, but for some reason I didn't. After a few deep breaths, I knocked on the door several times. Come in! I heard a familiar voice. Hi, do you know where Lena is? No, I haven't seen her today. You're looking for her, right? Don't you think it's strange? By the time I'd started suspecting everybody of hiding information about Lena's location, of conspiracy, of an involvement in me being here, of Kennedy's assassination, and of hundreds of other terrible things, well, you know, maybe I thought she went somewhere and then I just got lost in doing things. Breakfast, music club, helping clean, and then lunch, and then... Okay, I see. And what about yesterday? Is everything normal? Well, she came late and immediately went to bed. I didn't even notice anything wrong. No chance to find out anything here either. Thanks. I said abruptly and left. At that moment, it seemed to me that the missing Lena was the only living person in this pack of talking dummies, and I had to find her. However, it seemed almost impossible to do this alone, so I went for help. Who would be most willing to help me? Of course, Slavia! I decided that at this time she would be engaged in cleaning something. For example, the square. So I went there. My sixth sense didn't let me down. Hi! Hey! Have you seen Lena? No, why are you asking? Nobody's seen her since this morning. She was absent during breakfast as well as during lunch. Strange. I also think this is... And to put it mildly, strange. Can you help me find her? Oh, sorry. Maybe later? I've got cleaning here to finish. It was like a lightning strike. I took a few awkward steps back and ran away from this place. No, that was not her. It was as if somebody had replaced her. Not only her, but also the other inhabitants of this camp. What is happening? The strangest thing is that it doesn't have anything to do with me, but with Lena. Maybe she came here the same way as I did. Exactly. That could be the reason why she behaves quietly most of the time. No, wait. But what about her knowing Alisa? No, something does not add up. My head was going to explode and I started to choke. After catching the breath, I looked around and found myself at the bus stop. I sat on the curb and covered my face with my hands. If before nothing had really been up to me, but was going relatively smoothly, then now I was, as always, helpless, but the situation was totally different. Watching the battle fought from the side with no threat to your life and being on the hot spot without being able to help the ones you care about are two different things. Oh. I was just sitting. Time passed and the sun began to fall. Probably dinner was already started. Although what's the difference? I still don't want to eat. I stood up and trudged back to the camp on rubber legs. As always, the only thing left is to wait. I decided to go to the beach. While everybody was at dinner, I could sit quietly and think there. So what could I think about? Enough, maybe? However, my expectations were ruined. On the beach, I met Xenia, which greatly surprised me. You also come here? She looked at me from behind her glasses. Do you think I'm not a human being? No, I didn't mean that. Then what do you mean? Nothing. By the way, have you seen Lena? No. I see. What do you want from her? Well, nobody's seen her since yesterday evening. Do you think that somebody could get lost in this camp? She laughed loudly. Sure, succeeded. That was a special case. Those guys are two peas in a pod, and you never know what to expect from them. I immediately remembered the morning incident. Tell me, why were you chasing Electronique this morning? Xenia got uncomfortable. It's none of your business. Just asking. Because he is a fool. She turned away after these words. Maybe you shouldn't be so strict towards him. Even to me, it wasn't clear whether I'm defending Electronique or just keeping the conversation going. Then how else should I treat him? Well, give him a chance. You know, such an act requires lots of courage. You say it as if it's something special, some kind of achievement. Would you be able to do that yourself? I thought and answered after a while. I don't know. Haven't had the right moment yet. I hope you'll have it soon. Xenia said rudely and walked towards the canteen. I sat down on the sand and thought. True that Electronique was able to say it, but can I do the same thing? That is the question. The big question. If I got the right moment, but which and when? Always easier to think about something ephemeral? I don't know what that word is. To get ready for dozens of possible situations to predict the following events for many steps ahead. But most of the time, it all goes differently. Even a small event is enough to ruin all your plans. And if you're not ready to do it at any time, whenever, under any circumstances, if you are ready only when everything is exactly as you'd expected, it's unlikely you'll ever get anything worthwhile. Therefore, the only correct answer to Xenia's question was no. Not an ambiguous, uncertain, half-hearted, or forced answer. Just no. There is only a simple yes and a simple no. It's always been hard for me to understand that. Between these two extremes, I always worked in a great number of different answers like maybe, perhaps, probably if, and not sure, but I will try. I was so absorbed in my thoughts that I did not notice how the darkness stole across the camp. Under other circumstances, I would have gone to sleep by now. But looking for Lena at night was not a good idea. I got up and slowly wandered aimlessly. Soon the path led me to the sports ground. I stood there for a moment and was about to leave when I heard noises. Clap. Another clap. Something painfully familiar. Ah, it's Lena. I ran towards the volleyball court and saw Lena, who was unsuccessfully trying to hit the shuttlecock with the racket. I stood in shock for a long time. My head was completely empty. I just looked at her and felt a sense of joy. Joy at finding her? Joy at seeing her again? Finally, I came to my senses and decided to approach. But after a couple of steps, I stopped. And what do I say now? Glad I found you? Where have you been? I was worried. After yesterday's conversation, it's very unlikely she wants to see me. And what if Lena asked me why I was looking for her? Why I was worrying? I did not know why myself. Probably it's because she was absent for too long. Maybe if it wasn't her, but some other person who I know, I'd have been worried the same way. Maybe if I'd behaved differently yesterday, she would not have disappeared yet today. I'm not sure, but I'll try to come up with something adequate. I took another step and stopped again. Probably, maybe, perhaps, not sure. Again and again, these words appeared in my mind, in my life, unconsciously, without my will. But why? For what purpose? I have to make a decision once and for all. Although, there are two simple words, yes and no. Finally, it's all clear. I went to the court, approached Lena, smiled, and said, "Hey!" She turned and looked at me. "Hi. You were absent all day." "Yes, I was walking around." Everything she said was quiet and calm, with no trace of embarrassment or shyness. With no emotions at all, in fact. "We worried about you." Though the only one who worried was me. "You shouldn't have. But you can't just disappear like that." I tried to smile to make my words not sound like a reproach. I don't think that anybody cares about that. I care, for one. Why? I read surprise in her eyes. Because it's not right. No matter how I tried to be perfectly honest, it came out wrong. Ah, I see. Okay, I won't do this again. It seemed like this conversation was not interesting to her. Silence followed. I just didn't know what else to say, and Lena seemed to be quite content with the silence. "Are you any good?" I finally said, pointing at the racket. "Not very. If you want, No, I don't." She walked to the bench and put down her racket and birdie. "Okay." To tell the truth, I did not expect that response. "Want to look at the stars together?" "Yes, of course." Aww. I sat down beside her, and I still have no eyes. Lena intently studied the sky. Lots of small lights shined above me. Some of them were brighter, some were barely visible. I never really understood what people see in just sitting back and looking at the stars. After all, here on Earth, they're just small dots of light, and it's unlikely that many people know what kind of celestial bodies they are, as well as their size and how far they are from us. Of course, it's so romantic to just enjoy the light of distant stars, but for me, it was like staring at a brick wall. It also has its potholes, unevenness in the brickwork, patterns on the stone. A stellar sky in miniature. Boy, he's really not very bright, is he? So what do you see there? Stars. She said mysteriously with her head up. Yes, I know, I see them too. But what's so special about them? I don't know. It seems like that they talk to me. There are other people there. They have their own life, probably much better than ours. And they too look at the sky and see the earth, me and you. Voices of the distant stars. I'd already heard that somewhere else. You can call it that. Interesting theory. No, the theory is quite common. Lena looked at me. In the dim moonlight, I noticed a small tear rolling down her cheek, or at least I thought I did. I guess I'm just a more, let's say, practical person. She said nothing, just stared at the sky again. But if you think about it, of course, there's endless interstellar space, millions of planets, hundreds of galaxies. It's fascinating. My voice sounded unnaturally excited. You don't need to talk about all these things. About what? About this. About everything. No, the stars are really beautiful. Why did you come? Now she was crying for sure. I was looking for you. Why? I don't know why, I just was. You found me. Happy now? Well, I mumbled. Why didn't you go to Alisa? What does she have to do with it? Are you trying to say that it's not about her? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Why did you bring this topic up again? I thought we already cleared everything up. Of course we didn't clear anything up. To be precise, we didn't even start. However, I don't understand why all this is necessary. You think I really want to talk about it myself? If you don't, then why? Because... It's because of you. Because of me what? You and Alisa. Me and Alisa what? We don't have a relationship. We don't have anything at all. Don't lie to me. Lena turned away, sobbing quietly. Why is this so important to her? What else can I say if you don't believe me? Tell me the truth. I've already told you. Then go to her. Why should I go to her? I don't want to go anywhere. Why are you sitting here and torturing me? Oh Lord, how am I torturing you? Lena didn't answer. I've been looking for you for the entire day because I was worried. I came here because you're here. I'm sitting here because I want to be here. What don't you understand? She stopped crying for a moment. Is that true? Of course. I mean something to you? Even taking into account all the things I've just said, this question came to me unexpectedly. Well, yes. If only you could hear yourself now. She cried, got up, and walked briskly towards the exit of the sports ground. Wait! I caught up with her and grabbed her arm, but she pulled out of my grip. Don't touch me! Now Lena was a totally different person, and I couldn't say that she was aggressive, assertive, or super strong-willed. She just had no doubts about what she was doing. Wait, what did I say? That's all true. Save all this nonsense for her. I tried to stop Lena once again, but she glared at me so strongly that I did not dare to argue. Just imagine how I feel. You make up a bunch of stupid things, and now you think I'm guilty of all mortal sins. Why should you care? I should. She stopped for a moment and looked at me. It's all lies. In my anger, I banged my forehead on an iron post. You can just beat yourself up here. I'd seen Lena be many things, but not ruthless and indifferent. Wait, let's talk calmly. We have nothing to talk about. She crossed the football field and I trailed behind, trying in vain to persuade her to listen to me. I don't know why I'm doing all this, to prove that I'm right? So I won't be misunderstood? So I'll look better in her eyes? Or is there some other reason? Maybe because you're in love with her, you dumbass. Good grief. In any case, at that moment, I just felt that it was necessary. We came to the square. Lena was pretty fast. I could barely keep up with her. I had to say something. My head was filled with different options, but nothing suitable. Wait! No answer. Listen! No answer. Will you stop it? No answer. We'll wake the whole camp. So what? What's the difference? Strange, but at that moment I was more worried about our behavior than Lena. She stopped. Thanks for accompanying me. I'll go alone now. What? Lena said bitterly. You haven't listened to me yet. To me it seems like I've already listened, several times even. So what do you want from me? Me? From you? Nothing at all. She sounded much more confident than me. There was no trace of doubt in her eyes. What can I say? What can I do? Damn it. I was ready to burst into tears. Don't get so emotional. Nothing happened. Nothing happened? Something definitely happened. You won't lose anything if you pay no attention to me. Let me decide that. No, seriously, why? There are many pleasant activities you could choose to do. Well, to be honest, I don't need it anyway. If you don't need it, why do you constantly mention Alisa? Lena's face changed. This is none of your business, get it? No, now it's my business. She looked at me as if she was ready to kill. Why are you bothering me? You have her. So go to her. She won't refuse, I assure you. Lena started screaming, her hair disheveled, her face flushed and her eyes bloodshot. Calm down, I won't go to her. Why would you even think so? Just see, I'm here now and I'm not going anywhere. She seemed to calm down a bit. What's going on here? I turned around and saw Alisa lazily chewing a bun. just walk in and nom nom nom. This bun is so dry. In the wrong place at the wrong time. This situation is a perfect example. I just froze in surprise, not knowing what to say. But Lena was smarter. Time to pass him on. Catch! Alisa looked surprised. No wonder, she hadn't heard the entire conversation. What? I said catch. Within a moment, Alisa became like she was before, calm and unruffled. What should I catch? Him. She pointed her finger at me with disgust. He complains about how he loves you, how he cannot live without you, and stuff like that. What? Alisa's eyes popped wide open. No, that's all wrong. Lena's just joking. I giggled nervously. Why? That's exactly what's happening. Listen, everything has its limits, I said quietly to her. Do you want there to be victims? Why? I already suggested to you should go to her. I don't know what you're talking about here, but don't involve me. You don't know? Lena said it softly, but her voice had a trace of rage in it. The same thing? Again? Alisa looked at her, frightened. Listen, I understand that you... Well, I don't know, really. Not a single word. Not even a single word, single thought about him, I swear. You don't know? Oh. Damn. Lena jumped at her, and before I realized, smashed Alisa with a powerful right hook. Well, I'd understand a simple slap, but such a blow could break someone's jaw. Alice, I assume that should be Alisa, collapsed and seemed to lose consciousness. What should I do? Whoa. Apparently I'm supposed to help Alisa? That's going to give me the good ending with Lena? Okay. Semyon, what are you doing? I ran over to the fallen girl and tried to figure out if she was alive at all. Are you completely out of your mind? If you want me to leave, to shut up, or to do anything else, fine, but this is turning into a complete madhouse. Maybe you need a straitjacket so nobody else will get injured. Lena stood, clenching her fist. You could even break your hand with such a blow. You don't understand anything. The tears welled up, flowing down her face, and she fled from the square. It seemed to me that I could still hear Lena's sobbing while I was bringing Alisa around. Finally, she came back to consciousness. You alive? Are you okay? Alisa moved her jaw from left to right. I'm alive. I helped her up. I told you about her. Well, that doesn't matter now. You have to get to the infirmary. It's too late for the infirmary. I'll have to have a good night's rest, and in the morning I'll go there. Okay, then I'll go with you. I can't refuse, Alisa said, trying to give me a smile. All the way we kept silent. She was probably not really able to talk, and I couldn't find the right words to say. All of this was a real shock for me. I found myself a mere spectator of a drama in which I just took on the main part. After the door closed behind Alisa, I stood for a long time and looked at her cabin. What should I do after all this? Fatigue overcame me. I had to sleep. Well, yeah. That's the next most natural thing to do in this situation. Absolutely not. I think Lena is now in a state in which she is unlikely to adequately assess reality. Completely broken, I fell down onto the bed and drifted to sleep. Wow. 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 Somehow I woke up in my apartment. What? Okay. we'll pick this up in the next episode. I don't know how much longer this is going to be. We're just about out of time. So thanks for joining me for a weird episode. Anyway, see you next time.